We have Land Cap. It's just another Ice Age land. It's pretty bad in all respects, so unlikely to be worth much. Next we have Flooded Shoreline. It's 2 blue for an enchantment. And then you can pay 2 blue, return 2 islands you control to owner's hand, to return target creature to its owner's hand. So, on the face of it, this card isn't very good. Just paying mana and returning islands to your hand to return target creature to somebody's hand isn't really that kind of a breaking effect, but it is pretty strong. It can be done anytime, that kind of thing. Unless there's a way to break the cycle of, if you have to return 2 lands to your hand, 2 islands, and then you have to somehow get 2 more islands back on the field to use it again. If that cycle somehow gets broken in the future, then this card becomes much stronger. Heart of Yevimaya. Yeah, these are a cycle of lands from alliances. Not immediately something super strong. I mean, comes into play tapped, so you lose a turn, and then it comes with an extra ability as well as being a mana-producing land. This one is one of the weaker ones. It just gives a creature +1/+1 until end of turn, so unlikely to ever really be a very expensive card because it's not something that's game-winning or unique in some interesting aspect. So, yeah, not really worth much. Got Sarah Aviary, 3 and 1 white, so 4 mana total for an enchantment. All creatures with flying get +1/+1, so it helps everybody, not just you, so it's a downside. What you get to build around it, but then it's pretty high mana cost for just a small ability. Having +1/+1 on all your creatures with flying probably isn't going to be a game-winning kind of effect. Cards that do combos are highly valued, yet cards that just give small buffs and these kind of things aren't necessarily very good in value terms. So this card can't really be worth a lot of money because the effect is just too mediocre to matter. Telemtor's Edict, 1 red mana for an instant, remove from the game a permanent you own or control, and then you get to draw a card as well. I actually like this card. I think it's very good, but it's only for specific strategies. And it's the sort of strategies red would be good at. So temporary gaining control of permanents, and then you hit it with this. You get to replace this card by drawing through another card, and you also remove the card that you had temporary control of for the game. It doesn't go back to whoever owned it before. And if you can use this effect over and over, it becomes pretty good. I mean, you're always getting a card, so the cost is really just a red mana. It replaces the card out of your hand, so you don't really lose card advantage. But then you're getting a very minor effect in the grand scheme of things in return. But once you think about ways that you can abuse it, it becomes pretty good. And then you've got that the cap, the future. It could become even better as something else comes out that makes this strategy really strong. Maybe a multiplying effect, hitting one card hits every card. You never know what they're going to come up with later. So I'd say this is something to keep on the radar, but it's going to be worth a few dollars always in the background. Okay, we have Farmstead, a white card for 3 white mana, enchant a land, and then during upkeep you can pay 2 white to gain 1 life. This is a pretty bad card. I'd hesitate, but I'd probably call it close to rubbish. Don't know why anyone thinks this is worth money. It's actively bad, tying up a lot of mana, has to be enchanting a land. There's better things to be doing. There's got to be enchantments out there that'll just generate life gain residually that is better than this. So, very unspecable card. No reason for anyone to actually try to own a lot of these copies, and they're not going to be worth much, and the effect is so minor that they can easily make a better version of this card in the future. Sustaining Spirit, 1 and 1 white, and you get a 0/3 creature with a cumulative upkeep of 1 and 1 white. Any damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 instead reduces it to 1. This is a very good kind of effect. Previously been on cards, much more expensive than this, so it's a bit more nuanced because it's got the cumulative upkeep. It's not going to be around forever, but it's an okay card. As always, they can get rid of the creature and then you don't get the effect again, but I can see build-arounds keeping the value of this card quite high. Maybe not hundreds of dollars worth ever, but it's unique enough, and if there's a lot of cards that try to do this kind of thing and there's a deck to build around the strategy, then you have to have this one because it's the reserve list version. So yeah, okayish, but don't expect too much. Silver Wyvern, 3 colorless and 2 blue for a 4/3 flying creature, and then you can pay 1 blue. Target spell or ability which targets only this Silver Wyvern targets another creature of your choice instead. So you can just deflect any kind of spell targeting this card. Yeah, that's pretty minor, mediocre. Do you really need to try to protect a 5 mana 4/3 flying? Is that the best thing you want to be protecting? Well, given it's inbuilt onto the card, but yeah, not 100% the best kind of strategy to be working around. So it's unlikely to be a big role player or a game swinger. So the value is on the lower end and unlikely to go much higher. Spirit of the Night, 6 colorless, 3 black for a 6/5. Flying, trample, protection from black, first strike when attacking, and it's got haste. All in all, it sounds like a whole lot of value for the mana. Big creature, but it's really nothing special. It's just a creature. You've still got to attack multiple turns just to kill somebody. So, how long is this going to stick around? Probably not that long, but it's easily dealt with, so that's why it can't be worth a lot of money. Like, it's not going to be a must answer for your opponent, and then what? And most people have ways to answer creatures at the most easily removed card in the game. So I'd say it's probably okayish, fun, but not worth money. So don't try and spec on creatures that look like they've got nice stats, because that never works out. River Delta, Depletion Land, just don't buy these. Soraya the Falconer, 1 and 2 white for a 2/2. All Falcons get +1/+1, and you can pay 1 and a white, and target Falcon gains banding until end of turn. So not bad. A 2/2 for 3 mana, but it's also a buff for a tribe that doesn't really have much, Falcons, so that's pretty good. And then the banding ability, but you got to pay mana for it. That's neither here nor there, but I guess it's for fun if you like Falcons and you want to try and make a deck built around this. Yeah, okay, get in there, but it's not worth money. It's never going to be worth a lot of money. Winter's Night, a white, a red, and a green enchantment from Alliances. I used to try and build around this card. I thought, how can I make this lopsided and work for me and hurt everyone else? But never really could. There wasn't enough cards at the time to build around it. But whenever a snow-covered land is tapped for mana, it produces an additional mana of the same type and doesn't untap during its controller's next untap phase. So if you've got a way to get your lands to untap, that's great. Otherwise, you're just getting double, and then you're missing a turn, and then double. So it's okayish, but I don't see this effect ever going to be abused much. Unlikely. So monetarily wise, something to keep an eye out, but it's not really worth much. Don't go specking deep on these. Okay, you got Sheltered Valley, another Alliances land. When it comes to play, you have to destroy it. Any other sheltered valleys you control, so you can only have one. During your upkeep, if you control 3 or fewer lands, gain a life. So, again, is it really worth not having a lot of lands in play just so you can gain a life? Probably not. But it does produce mana. It doesn't come into play tapped, so it's an okay-ish card to get a bit of early life gain, but I don't think it's spectacular. And unless there's a way to really move the game in your favor just by gaining a life or 2, then it can't be a card that's going to warp a format or anything like that. So minimalist at most, a few dollars, yeah, if you like the effect or you're building around it, but it's not a spec. It's not something that's ever going to be good. Krovax the Curse, 2 colorless, 2 black mana. What do you get? You get a vampire. Comes into play with 4+1/+1 counters on it, so that's pretty good. 4 mana, 4/4 vampire. Yeah, nice. During upkeep, sacrifice a creature and put a +1/+1 counter, or remove a +1/+1 counter. And then you can pay 1 black to give it flying until end of turn. So, sort of got a built-in upkeep cost there that you need to continually sacrifice stuff, but it gets bigger. But then if you don't, it gets smaller and you're worse off. So, and you got to think about it in terms of it's just a creature. It's not going to win the game because it's on your side of the battlefield. So this isn't spectacular. It's just something fun for Vampire Tribal or whatever. It's not really worth a lot of money. It's unlikely to ever be. Forsaken Wastes, 2 colorless and a black. Enchantment, players cannot gain life. During each player's upkeep, their player loses 1 life. If Forsaken Waste is the target of a successfully cast spell, spell's caster loses 5 life. I actually like this card. I think it's good. There's only a few cards that prevent people from gaining life, and this is one of them. It doesn't cost that much in mana terms. It's got like a tick effect, which just hurts people continuously, so that's fun to build around. And if there's abilities that activate based on people losing life, this does it every upkeep for free, so it's just helping you get maximum triggers for those kind of spells. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good card. It's not completely unique, but it does quite a few good things, and as cards come out that this helps and builds around to create nice strategies. If the strategy becomes too strong, then this becomes a very expensive card, but in general it's just a nice additional role player with some good effects that warp the game and hurt people who are trying to play life gain strategies. And there's good life gain strategies now, so this becomes a usable card. I never would have thought life gain would be a good strategy, but we've seen a lot now where they can build decks that are just insane. You know, they get so much advantage for just gaining life over and over again. So I think this has got some legs. If you like the effect, interested in it, maybe you should have a few. Specking, maybe, but don't pay too much, because it's not unheard of that these kind of cards can be hurled out again with similar templating. So yeah, nice card. Aberoth, a green, 4 colorless and 2 green for a 9/9. Cumulative upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on Aberoth. It looked insane back in the day, and would hit once or twice, and you'd feel really bad that, oh my god, I got smashed by this card. But in general respect, it's not a good card. It's just a creature. It's got a massive downside. Even if you got it in on the cheap, it's not going to affect the board. It's just you're going to have to use it to attack, and eventually somebody's going to be able to answer it, and then you've wasted your time. But sure, it looks good. Maybe it has a bit of sentimental value to people, but it's not game winning or going to do any kind of combo. So its monetary value is really limited. That it can't really become a really expensive card.